everyone, and welcome back to another video in our wellness series. My name's Olivia and I'm the National Content Coordinator for the Manchester Unity Members Forum. And today I'm joined by Sofian from Shaking Minds. And today we've got a really interesting topic to talk about, which is limiting beliefs versus empowering beliefs. But first, before we start the video, I'll hand it over to Sofian so he can explain a little bit more about what today's video will be all about.
Hi everyone, thank you very much Olivia for the introduction. My name is Sofian from Shaking Minds. I hope this is not the first time you're seeing me. We've been recording quite a lot of things together for the members of Manchester Unity. So Shaking Mind is here to create a positive impact in the life of people. And so I've been coaching people all around the world for pretty much 10 years. And so out of all the clients that I have, they come and see me for different reasons. But every single time when they come to see me, there is something behind the reason why they come to see me. And it is a limiting belief. So today, what I would like to do is to show you what limiting beliefs looks like, explain to you how it can impact your life. But in order to do that, I just wanted to do something a bit different on this session. And today I'm going to do a coaching session live with Olivia, right? So I just want you to know that before we started to record that video, Olivia and I had a bit of a discussion, simply for the purpose to have that video moving a little bit quicker. Normally, that's something that I do over an hour or 2 hours with my clients. And also because I had to prepare Olivia psychologically because I've been asking her to become a bit vulnerable and to share a bit of something that could be important for her, okay? So first of all, I want to acknowledge Olivia for being open to share that experience with you today, but it's going to be fantastic. Honestly, I'm really excited to show you how limiting beliefs works and also to show you how coaching works a little bit when we work that, okay? So first, we're going to start about defining what is a limiting belief. A limiting belief is something that you believe so strongly that for you it becomes a reality, okay? There are tons and tons of limiting belief, and basically every single person on earth will have a different limiting belief. Most of the time you won't have just one. You actually might have 3, 4, 5, maybe 10, maybe 20. Some of them could be very, very tiny, but some of them could be very, very big. Just to shout a few of the limiting beliefs that I see very recurrent, coming back a lot. There is, I'm not good enough. That's actually a very, very strong like limiting belief that I see. I also hear a lot, I'm never going to be able to be successful, which is also a bit connected to I'm not good enough, but that's another one. I also have many people that says, I'm never going to be able to have a body in shape, for example. Okay, so this is just like a very, very snapshot of the different limiting beliefs that I hear on every single day. And so for these people, when they think that they're never going to be able, for example, to have their body in shape, well, basically it impacts their whole life. Because then they believe that they can't have their body in shape, they're not even going to try at the gym. You know what I mean? They're not even going to play fully at the gym simply because that's how it is. So the problem with the limiting belief is it impacts your subconscious. Because it impacts your subconscious, it's going to have an impact on the way you're going to do things and so on, right? So I would like to get Olivia now to actually share what is one of her limiting belief. Olivia, what's one of your limiting beliefs, please?
One of my limiting beliefs is that I can't make a difference. And for me, that's quite overpowering in my work life especially, but also thinking about it in my personal life in the sense that with all that's going on in the world, such as climate change, I feel like as an individual, I can't make a difference in changing the world in the climate sense. That's probably my biggest issue with that. But then it's more overpowering in the work sense because when I go and work with the people that I do, I feel like what I'm doing and what services I'm providing, it's actually not impacting them at all.
Very good. And by the way, like what Olivia just said regarding like, I can make a difference. And I love the example that you gave regarding climate change. Many people have actually that limiting belief. Many people think that they cannot make a difference and they think like, oh, it's not because I'm going to switch off the light that it's going to make a difference. Well, actually it will. So that connects to one of your limiting beliefs right there is like, it takes one person to start changing the world. And so today I'm really happy to coach Olivia because well, we're probably going to start changing the world right now. Okay. So we're picking up on that limiting belief from Olivia. Thank you very much for sharing, which is I can't make a difference. So what I would like to see first is the impact of that limiting belief on Olivia's life. Olivia, could you see that limiting belief had an impact either in the past or even in the present on your life, and how does that impact yourself?
I'd say for in the past, it's had an impact because previously I've had the support of team members, so that if I did even have the opportunity to lead a group or organize a few activities in my work, then I'd just do that, and then I'd sort of step back and go into my regular position of just kind of like support. So I didn't really feel as though I was making a difference because it was mainly my team members doing all the hard work and I was just adding in my 2 cents worth every so often. So for me, in the past, it didn't really feel like I was doing much because it was kind of just like what I was expected to do and to be able to support my team.
Right. So basically, you didn't put yourself into like a leadership position, and you actually just not really step up. You just did like the little action that you were expected to do, and then step back into your little bubble right there. So you cut yourself from taking the leadership on a few things. And by the sound of it, you were actually relying on those people that were working alongside with you, and they were kind of your safety net right there. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. And even if I was given a small opportunity to lead an event or an activity or whatever it was, if I needed help, then there were always people around me to be like, this is what you can do. You can use these resources, contact this person, blah, blah, blah. So even then, it still wasn't really me making all the decisions. It was kind of being like, oh, I'm not quite sure what to do next. Oh, I'll go and use that safety net because I don't know what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Excellent and fantastic. So here we have like a really good example on how that limiting belief impacted Olivia's life in the past and how it could impact probably in the present. So we can see right now that straight away there's a lack of taking opportunity to be a leader, and also feeling comfortable because there's someone along us. So what I would like you to think about, Olivia, right now is if we carry on that limiting belief for the upcoming 10 years, if you keep thinking that I can't make a difference, I cannot make a difference, I'm never going to be able to be a leader, I'm never going to be able to work by myself without a safety net, I'm never going to be able to step up, I'm never going to be able to go to my full potential, how is it going to feel like for you?
I'd say probably for the most part, I'm going to just be aimlessly going in a straight line almost through life and sort of taking on new jobs or new responsibilities, whatever it is that I'm doing, being like, oh, I could be doing better, but I'm not really good enough to make an impact. So I'm just going to sort of sit within my comfort zone, not really push myself, because I know whenever I do try and push myself, I'm not really making an impact because that's what my limiting belief is. I also believe that I would be looking at everyone else around me, whether they're in my organization or outside, and seeing, wow, what an incredible job they're doing in their positions, but I can't do that in my position. Right. So I'd be almost comparing myself and seeing like, oh, well, this person, or say Sofian, we were in the same organization. I'd be like, oh, Sofian's doing such a great job in his role, but I don't see the impact that I'm making in mine. So obviously I'm not doing a very good job.
Absolutely. So basically you're going to play small, right? You're going to keep on playing small, and then you're going to keep comparing yourself to others. And of course, you're going to start to comparing your performance next to others, and you're going to feel that you are underperforming as opposed to them. So basically that, I want you like, for everyone watching the video right now, I want you to kind of, well, maybe some of you are seeing yourself in that scenario that we're discussing with Olivia. So I want you to think about, you're going to beat yourself up for the next 10 years. You're going to keep telling yourself, I can't make a difference. The other people are doing better than me. I'm not that good at all. And it's going to start to attack yourself from the inside. In 10 years time, what is it going to look like for you? How are you going to feel on a personal level? How are you going to feel, Olivia, on a personal level?
I'd feel really upset and quite disappointed in myself for letting that limiting belief be so overpowering that I couldn't change my thoughts. And I'd say that my mental health would be impacted quite deeply, because I would potentially be falling into quite a negative mindset cycle, and then that would lead on to other areas of my life.
Very good.
And also just sort of probably looking back on the past 10 years, or even further on, looking back on the past 10 to 20 years and thinking, well, I regret what I've done, and I regret not taking the steps to move myself out of that limited belief and changing my mindset.
And that's a very good point. And so, you know, that many people that come and see me, or many people that go see psychologists and that type of thing, is because they're reaching that stage. They're reaching the 10-year stage that we talk about. I could keep on projecting Olivia further down the track, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. You have some people that go through a whole lifetime like this, and at the end of their life, on their bed, ready to die, they're actually going to say, I have so much regret of things that I haven't done because I stopped myself from doing this and from doing that. So it is like, some of you might see yourself into this. And so what we're looking at right now is, when we talk about the limiting belief now, lucky here in the discussion we have with Olivia, that limiting belief is a fairly recent one. So because of that, we don't let it seed into herself for the next 10 or 20 years, and we can work on it straight away. So the earlier you work on it, and the better it is. Now, it's never too late to get rid of a limiting belief. It's just that the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be, and it's going to require to have more leverage in order to get rid of that limiting belief. Okay, so now we have like a really good example of what a limiting belief is, the impact that it could have on a life in the past and in the present, but also the impact of that limiting belief in the future. Olivia, let me ask you, would you like to keep on living with that limiting belief?
Absolutely not.
There you go. Because she doesn't accept the status quo, she wants to change the status quo and start to change that thing, because she realized that that limiting belief could potentially destroy her life, or being very nasty to herself. Okay, so now that we have the idea of the limiting belief, right, what I want to create for Olivia is to create something that is stronger than that limiting belief, and that's what I call an empowering belief. An empowering belief is extremely important. The empowering belief is something that's going to come and replace that limiting belief. But when you choose an empowering belief, it has to empower you. It has to be stronger than your limiting belief. It has to be so strong that as soon as you think about it, your limiting belief completely vanishes or disappears. Okay, that's very important to think about that. So whatever empowering belief you guys are going to create, whatever Olivia is going to create right now, you're going to see the first question I'm going to ask her is, do you feel empowered by this? Because if she's not convinced by it, then it's completely irrelevant. Okay, let's give that a go. Olivia, could you give me an empowering belief to replace that limiting about I can't make a difference? What could it be?
Absolutely. Probably it's so simple for me, but I feel really connected to it. It's, I am enough.
Very good. Very good. I am enough. And I'm going to be honest, we worked on this together a little bit before we started to record the video. And so the first limiting belief, empowering belief that Olivia gave me wasn't empowering enough. She gave me something that was like, if I remember, in the line of like, I can make a difference, but I could feel there was still hesitation. She was still trying to convince herself. But as soon as she said, I am enough, that was it. It was those 3 simple words, powerful, empowering for her, but also for me, because I could feel she had that projection of energy right there. And you probably just saw that, you as well, if you're watching that video. She sounds strong when she says that. So this is an empowering belief, and I have no doubt at all about the fact that it's going to empower her to move forward. Okay, so now we have our limiting belief, we have our empowering belief. What you need now to work on is to actually start to associate the empowering belief to the limiting belief. So you're going to kind of piggyback one on the other. So what's going to happen is your limiting belief will always come and cripple back. You know what I mean? It's going to come back and just like get you like under the bed or something like this, or at the corner of the next turn you're going to have. So every time that limiting belief creeps in, you have to stop it by throwing your empowering belief on top of it. And this is mind conditioning right here. This is pure neuro-linguistic program that we're doing right here. we actually rewiring your brain and how it works and how you connect things in your world. So Olivia, what I want you to do moving forward is every time that you have that limiting belief that says, I can't make a difference, I want you to grab that empowering belief and putting straight away and say, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. You have to repeat it to yourself maybe 3, 4 times, 5 times, but you need to empower yourself. And so there's a really a very fun exercise that I like to do with all my clients as well when we do that. It's a conditioning exercise that we do for about usually about 10 minutes. It's actually quite fun. So basically what I'm asking them to do is to say, my old limiting belief is, and so they say the old limiting belief. So that limiting belief for Olivia, for example, was, I can't make a difference. And so I want them to make it as silly as possible. Make it sound silly. And, just take an example of whatever, like a clown trying to say a joke at the comedy, like, my old limiting belief is, I can make a difference. Ta-da! And that, you play silly and all of that. And so once you get that silly thing, then you strike a pose, you stand strong, you get your physiology right to put yourself in the right mindset, in the right state, and you say, I am enough. The truth is, I am enough. And you can add whatever you want to that. So you go from silly to bam, being serious straight away. And I do that conditioning game with my clients for about 5 minutes. And at the beginning, it sounds a bit awkward. And then they start to get really into it, and so they start to convince themselves about this. And this is how the conditioning is happening. Now, if you want to create a lasting change, you need to repeat that process. The more you're going to repeat that process, the more you're going to assimilate your limiting belief to your empowering belief, the more your empowering belief is going to take control. Your empowering belief take control, it becomes a lot easier to put it in place on a daily basis. And that's how it's going to roll out. Okay? Olivia, do you have any question regarding that process?
Yes, I am just wondering about other ways that you could find ways to include your empowering belief in your life. I'm just thinking for myself, I quite like physical things, like little bits of paper that remind me of my empowering belief. So is that something else that you would recommend? Perhaps like writing yourself lots of different notes and putting them in like your pockets or your wallet or in your car or different places that you're going to be accessing quite often to remind yourself?
I'll show that. Just to answer your question, I think that's the easiest one to do, right? So yes, if you need to get a tattoo, get it tattoo, whatever it is. If you need to get something that reminds me, and I'm exactly the same as you on that, I need to have like a physical reminder of it or whatever. I tattooed this one on myself to remember you gotta fight for whatever you want. Nothing comes for free. You gotta fight for your dreams. That's how it goes. And this is my empowering belief for myself. You gotta fight for your dreams. So you can put that on post-notes, you can put that as a reminder, you can write this on your hand if you want to, but basically you're so gonna put that into your mind over and over again that it's gonna become natural. It's gonna become natural and that's gonna be a process. So it's just like that. I would say that first 2 or 3 weeks, that's gonna be the bit of the boost that you need to get, and you need to find the way to make it work for you to just remind yourself. But once you get that done, up and running, and that's gonna be fine. And so the thing is, you're going to have to then analyze what is the next limiting belief and how can you work on it, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. And the more you work on limiting belief, the better you're getting at it. But yeah, put a reminder under your eyes. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. I really like your tattoo.
Best way to answer it, right? So that's how I get inspired. Okay. Do you have any question regarding the limiting belief and the empowering belief?
No, I don't. That's you've cleared it up. Thank you.
Perfect. So there you go. I give you one of my biggest tricks right there. Literally, this is limiting belief and empowering belief is one of my favorite topic, one of my favorite subject. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it is the #1 reason why people come and see me is because they have a limiting belief somewhere. And we need to track it down, we hunt it, and we simply kill it, because by destroying a limiting belief, we can empower people and get them to go to the next level. So there you are, you got it. The trickiest part for you would be to find your limiting belief and to express it, and then to find an empowering one. But keep on looking, keep on digging. And then, like I said, the best way to get help on that is to get a coach. If you need to get a coach, give us a call. Give me a call and I'll be here to help you for that, okay? So thank you very much for watching that video regarding limiting belief and empowering belief. Thank you again, Olivia, for being vulnerable and being open to share a little bit of yourself with everyone of the community. And then I'll see you guys very soon in the next video. Take care.